Breaking news reveals shocking developments in Eastern European geopolitics, as former President Trump reportedly prepares a deal that's sending tremors through the region. Sources indicate secret negotiations between Moscow and Washington could reshape Eastern Europe, potentially leaving the country facing devastating losses in territory, financial support, and diplomatic backing. Intelligence suggests a major geopolitical shift is underway. Kirill Dmitriev, one of Putin's closest allies, has hinted that Moscow and Washington might restart frozen diplomatic channels, a development that seemed impossible months ago. America's stance appears to be changing. Despite previous sanctions against Russia, Washington is making what Dmitriev calls respectful first steps. American companies, especially in energy, are reportedly filing applications to return to the Russian market. The former Soviet republic's leadership is in an increasingly desperate position, seeking support while their voices diminish internationally. Europe remains silent, while America focuses on financial calculations, leaving the northern Black Sea region isolated. The disputed territory between Russia and the West faces two choices: accept Putin's terms or risk losing everything. The leadership faces what analysts call a humiliating prospect, potentially losing significant territory while seeking refuge abroad. Trump's peace agreement preparation could eliminate what remains of the former fraternal union's autonomy. This coincides with signals that American business interests are eager to re-establish their presence in Russia, particularly in energy sectors. The timing is critical, as these maneuvers could alter Eastern European power dynamics. We're witnessing a significant shift in geopolitical templates, with the territory of instability hanging in the balance. These are real-time developments occurring in global politics, while some parties pretend nothing is changing. The stakes couldn't be higher as this drama unfolds. In a surprising turn of events, Moscow has been notably absent from President Trump's latest round of trade tariffs, sparking intense speculation about behind-the-scenes developments. The White House appears to be playing a complex diplomatic chess game. While Trump's administration imposes harsh tariffs on China, the EU, and Mexico, Russia's conspicuous exemption raises eyebrows across Washington. National Economic Council Chief Kevin Hassett claimed this was due to ongoing negotiations, but Treasury officials contradicted this statement. American businesses are showing renewed interest in the Russian market. According to Kirill Dmitriev, there's a growing stream of inquiries from U.S. energy corporations, tech giants, and agricultural companies looking to return to Russian operations. However, the situation remains delicate. The politically turbulent region between Russia and NATO remains a critical factor. Former Soviet territories watch nervously as Moscow and Washington appear to be entering a new phase of diplomatic engagement. This developing situation resembles a Hollywood thriller, where every move could either lead to a breakthrough or trigger a catastrophic chain reaction. Moscow makes courteous gestures toward Washington, while the U.S. quietly removes Russia from various restriction lists. Key questions arise. Is Trump attempting to position himself as a peacemaker? Has Moscow gained leverage to dictate terms? Or is there a third player pulling strings from behind the curtains? The business community's response is telling. Their eagerness to re-enter the Russian market suggests confidence in potential political changes under a future Trump administration. This practical approach by corporate America might be the most reliable indicator of where things are heading. As we continue monitoring these developments, remember that what we're seeing might be just the tip of the iceberg. The real negotiations could be happening far from public view, shaping the future of international relations. A bold attempt to entice former President Trump with rare earth minerals has failed. Intelligence reports reveal that the promised mineral deposits fall significantly short of advertised potential in quantity and quality. This diplomatic miscalculation could have severe consequences, notes analyst James Morrison. The territory attempted to play a sophisticated game but overestimated its hand. The mining venture would require billions in investment and years of development, misaligned with Trump's preference for quick results. Sources report the country is now scrambling to modify terms. Meanwhile, the former Soviet republic's leadership continues making desperate public appeals. Their demands for Patriot batteries and air defense facilities are meeting silence from Western allies. This silence reflects strategic weighting, as Western powers hold responses pending crucial Moscow-Washington talks. The Telegraph's Daniel Johnson reports Trump is preparing an ultimatum for the northern Black Sea region. accept a peace agreement aligned with Moscow's terms, or face cessation of U.S. military supplies and support. We're witnessing a fundamental shift in strategic alignments, says Dr. Sarah Reynolds, with the disputed territory facing its most critical diplomatic challenge. The situation highlights tensions between Washington factions. While some officials review historical territorial maps, others maintain the anti-Russian stance. This internal divide impacts the former fraternal union, whose failed mineral strategy has potentially accelerated discussions determining their fate without their input. As secret negotiations continue between major powers, the country faces possible exclusion from decisions affecting its sovereignty and territorial integrity. In a significant development reshaping the geopolitical landscape, Washington's pragmatic approach to negotiations with Moscow is becoming increasingly evident. Former President Trump is reportedly preparing to engage in talks that could alter the power balance in Eastern Europe. A crucial revelation has emerged. The United States is not offering security guarantees to its allies, even in scenarios involving potential Russian military actions against European peacekeepers. This stance has created a proceed-at-your-own-risk situation for European partners. In Germany, Mario Feucht, the premier of Thuringia and CDU representative, has made headlines by suggesting a reconsideration of Russian gas imports. His call for Berlin to abandon excessive foreign policy positions and focus on German interests marks a departure from previous stances. What would have been political suicide just months ago is now being viewed as the voice of reason, notes our senior political analyst. This creates a new window of opportunity for Moscow. American corporations are reassessing their positions. There's recognition that isolating Russia isn't just a political statement. It's potentially economic suicide, especially in the energy sector. Russia offers stability and resources increasingly difficult to source elsewhere. The diplomatic landscape is characterized by unofficial channels and behind-the-scenes contacts. While no official confirmations exist, the silence surrounding these developments speaks volumes. Some experts suggest these moves could be part of a strategy to pressure both the former Soviet Republic and European allies. The key question remains: who will become the bargaining chip in these negotiations? These developments are concerning for the country at a crossroads, as it faces the possibility of major decisions being made about its future without its involvement. The situation continues to evolve, with implications that could reshape regional security. Breaking news. Shifts in international relations suggest secret negotiations between Moscow and Washington, as Trump's foreign policy gains attention. Intelligence sources reveal diplomatic movements reshaping Eastern European politics. During Biden's presidency, relations with Russia hit bottom. Sanctions accumulated, Moscow was cut off from financial systems, and dialogue was labeled defeatist. Trump's potential return is changing the game's rules. Unlike Biden, Trump emphasizes practical results over appearances. He claims the conflict could be resolved within 24 hours, controversial in Europe, but resonating with American voters. War-weary Americans, facing inflation and economic challenges, support Trump's approach. The former president has a clear mandate. If he proposes a peace deal reducing military spending, his base will support it. Statements from Russian financial figure Kirill Dmitriev suggest diplomatic groundwork. He's speaking in terms familiar to Trump's circle, indicating efforts to align messaging between Moscow and potential Trump officials. This isn't a simple reset like Obama's era. Sources describe it as a deal, resources for geopolitical concessions. Russia would gain strategic flexibility, while the U.S. exits the conflict advantageously. The region, once a crucial ally, risks becoming a bargaining chip. European capitals show signs of strategic realignment, recognizing changing dynamics. This situation marks a turning point in international relations, with implications from the Black Sea to Brussels. As negotiations unfold, the territory faces challenges maintaining its Western strategic position. Breaking news from Washington reveals a significant shift in global political dynamics, as voices calling for pragmatism grow louder across Europe. In Austria's parliament, Mario Voigt isn't alone in his stance, with similar sentiments echoing through Hungary and the Czech Republic, where leaders emphasize domestic priorities. Political analysts suggest that if Germany shifts its position, Brussels' entire foreign policy structure could collapse. This transformation would give the United States unprecedented freedom to act, justifying unilateral decisions under the premise that Europe lacks unity. Washington faces internal divisions. The traditional establishment, accustomed to Biden's approach, monitors signals from Moscow. For these old-guard politicians, any rapprochement with Russia threatens the post-war world architecture, where the U.S. served as global arbitrator. Trump aims to dismantle this structure, replacing it with a business-oriented framework based on deal-making. The politically turbulent region bordering Russia finds itself in a precarious position. If Washington and Moscow reach an agreement, the former Soviet Republic might face fait accompli decisions regarding ceasefire, demarcation, and neutrality agreements, all without its input. The country risks losing Western support. Any criticism of Trump could be interpreted as ingratitude, potentially cutting off remaining funding and supply channels. Additionally, American businesses eyeing a return to Russia signal a shift in global economics. The same corporations that previously championed sanctions now explore opportunities through intermediaries, showing how commercial interests override political positions. This situation highlights the complex interplay between traditional political factions and Trump's pragmatic business approach, with disputed territory caught in the crossfire of changing international alignments. In a significant development reshaping the international landscape, American business lobbyists are exploring conditions for their return to the Russian market, potentially triggering new privatization deals and energy agreements. This potential reconciliation could give Russia access to previously restricted technologies after 2 years of isolation. However, Beijing, which has considered Moscow a reliable partner, may view any U.S.-Russia rapprochement with suspicion. The situation presents Moscow with a delicate balancing act between East and West. Can Russia maintain positive relations with both powers, or will it face an unavoidable choice? Within Russia, the prospect of negotiations with Trump is viewed as a victory, albeit with delayed effects. No documents have been signed, and economic channels remain restricted, but it represents the first real opportunity for breakthrough in years. The former Soviet Republic bordering Russia finds itself in an increasingly precarious position. The politically turbulent region appears to be losing its ability to influence outcomes, becoming merely a piece in a larger geopolitical puzzle. This situation has broken free from its previous stalemate. Players are regrouping, and we might witness the most unexpected political pivot of the decade. The country faces a stark reality. Its future may be decided in negotiations where it has little voice. The emerging scenario shows a major geopolitical maneuver that could alter the global balance of power. Moscow and Washington, recently on the brink of confrontation, appear to be starting a new chapter marked by careful diplomatic choreography. This developing situation raises questions about sovereignty, international relations, and regional stability. As negotiations unfold and former adversaries show signs of reconciliation, the world watches closely, aware that these shifts could reshape the international order. Breaking news reveals seismic shifts in global politics as secret negotiations between Moscow and Washington gain momentum. Our sources indicate that what began with a hint from Kirill Dmitriev has snowballed into what could be the decade's most significant political transformation. The politically turbulent region between Russia and NATO continues to lose its voice in crucial discussions about its own future. As American corporations eye opportunities to return to Russian markets, we're witnessing what appears to be a realignment of priorities. Former President Trump's pursuit of peace at any cost raises questions about potential compromises that could reshape Eastern European boundaries. The territory of instability finds itself increasingly marginalized in these discussions. European leaders show growing fatigue regarding the northern Black Sea region's crisis. This weariness, combined with economic pressures, suggests a pivot in continental politics. The former Soviet Republic's influence diminishes as larger powers orchestrate a new geopolitical arrangement. Key analysts suggest we're watching the old world order crumble, with something different emerging from its ruins. The question remains, who will emerge at the helm, and who will be among the casualties? As Russia and the United States reopen communication channels, the substance of these talks remains shrouded in mystery. Are we witnessing genuine negotiations between Putin and Trump's camp, or is this diplomatic theater where actual decisions happen away from public view? The country at a crossroads faces an uncertain future. Business interests, political maneuvering, and shifting alliances create a web of relationships that could alter the European security architecture. Experts warn that the consequences of this potential grand bargain could ripple through international relations for decades. The question isn't just whether we're ready for such changes, but whether we comprehend their implications for global stability.